So welcome everybody to meditation in what is the first week of Advent. Advent meaning to reach for or to come, and has to do with waiting and hope. I think hope is one of the words associated with the first Sunday in Advent. So there's a single candle there in the middle of the screen, and hope being the expectation of a positive future, a place perhaps between complacency and anxiety. So it's not always difficult to inhabit that space. Perhaps that's one of the challenges we have. It's far from passive, this period of waiting, but hopefully it's more than just the frenetic activity of preparing presents and food. Our waiting can be part of our discipline, an active preparation of hearts and desires to celebrate the coming of God amongst people on earth. And so this meditation, this weekly meditation, part of that discipline of taking time. And so with that image and the word hope on the screen and in our heads, we practice waiting and stillness. Invite you to just adjust where you're seating, draw your attention, become aware of your posture, become aware of your body. Feet gently but firmly on the ground. Back as upright as you comfortably can. Either lowered your gaze, looking at the screen, or closing your eyes. Just take 2 slow, deep breaths. Notice that breathing. Fix your attention on it. Notice the belly filling as if there's a balloon there. Think of a balloon filling and then collapsing as you breathe out. If you place your hands there, you'll feel the rise and the fall. Maybe if you're thinking of a balloon, I automatically seem to think of a red balloon. But I'm going to turn that colour to something softer. Just a pale yellow. Or a pale blue. If it helps you to count the breath on the in-breath, count up to 4, hold for 2, and then release through the mouth for 5. Keep focusing on the breath. through the counting, or through a visualization of a balloon rising and falling. Such a good exercise, this. Not only the breathing itself, but the focused attention, allowing your mind to rest. With that attention on your body, just do a fairly quick scan. Notice if there are any areas of tension. Perhaps the forehead, perhaps the eyes themselves, perhaps the neck or shoulders. Perhaps a tightness in your chest or your stomach. If there is anything, try and direct the breath, the attention to that area. And allow the out breath to allow release and relaxation. And as you continue with that slow, steady and deeper breath, it's going to follow a slightly different pattern this week. I'm going to use a series of what are called antiphons, titles for the Messiah. Traditionally, one was sung each night for the week before Christmas Eve. I'm going to associate them with different times of night and invite you to, in your mind's eye, in your imagination, to place yourself at these different times of the night. And we'll have a slight pause after each one. At sunset or twilight, the Latin, O Clavis David, O key of David. So a few hours ago, as the light faded, we entered this time of twilight, where colours meld and the first stars shimmer. And today there was a lovely sunset. If you call that to mind, be opened afresh to the mystery of life. Offer up the things you can't quite understand, the mysteries that can't be solved by your mind alone. And as you stand there in your imagination, invite God to open you to deeper ways of being, of trusting, of letting go. Please come, O Key, open the door in me. And at mid-evening, perhaps the time we are in right now, imagine if you turned off your lights and were sitting within the darkness for a few moments. We need not fear the dark, nor flood it with distractions. Imagine waiting for a while with unlit honesty and hope for the coming of the morning star. And for a few moments, bring any fear of your own sense of darkness to God and pray, "Come, O morning star, in your tender mercy, hear my prayer." And then moving forward a few hours before we sleep. O Rex Gentium, O King of the Nations. Imagine before sleep stepping outside your door, looking to the sky, looking for the North Star. And as you face north, remember the fixed point of God's love within the darkness, which remains constant. Take a moment to reflect on this day. Recall 2 or 3 things for which you're grateful. Breathe deeply and offer back your day to God. The things perhaps you wish you hadn't said. Things that have gone well. The people and places you've been or seen. the unexpected events that took you by surprise. Offer all these back to God as you surrender yourself afresh to God tonight. Praying with gentleness this night, please come, O King of the nations, and restore me. May your peace rule in my heart. And then in the watches of the night, O Emmanuel, God with us. And for any who struggle to sleep, who lie awake worrying, or feel stirred to wake and sense the presence of God when all the world falls silent, remember the vision of Isaiah, the words of Isaiah. The Lord himself will give you a sign. The Virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. And so perhaps our nighttime prayer might be simply, O come, Emmanuel. So we might use any of those as we move to silence. O Key of David, O Day Spring, O King of the nations, Emmanuel, God with us. And just some music from Salt of the Sound with the first words of that hymn, O come, Emmanuel.
O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile here.
maybe take that reassurance God is with us into our silence that won't be quite as long as usual, but still to be savoured, to be rested in. Perhaps just focusing on that mantra, O Come Emmanuel, or using the breathing, or being the observer of your own thoughts and emotions, and in doing so able to step back and let thoughts and emotions settle. We go in with the gong, and the sound will bring us out again. And so as we come out of our silence, there's one or two thoughts this Advent taken from a book by the bishop or the ex-bishop of Portsmouth, Salisbury, Bishop Holtham, called Sleepers Awake. One of the readings on Sunday from Romans was, "Understanding the present time, the hour has come for you to wake up from your slumber." And Bishop Holtham writes of the climate crisis. He has this book running through Advent, commenting on the COP meetings, that in 2015, the Paris Agreement, nations agreed to work towards being carbon neutral by the end of the century. They agreed to aim to limit the increase in temperature to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. And they recognized the need for global emissions to peak as soon as possible, but this would take longer for developing countries. After the Glasgow summit in 2021, some improvement, but nothing like enough. He says that during the pandemic, we got used to politicians saying they were following the science, but they also need to follow the science in relation to climate change and global warming. Facing the truth often feels challenging, but not facing the truth will be much worse. So our closing antiphon, sunrise, O sapientia, wisdom. Imagine at dawn facing east, relaxing your shoulders. As you wait and watch for the sun to rise, be still. Invite God's wisdom to rise from hidden depths within you and to overflow through all that you do. And a closing prayer from Bishop Holtham first. Opening ourselves to the truth of God, from the arrogance that thinks it knows all truth, from the laziness that is content with half-truth, from the cowardice that shrinks from new truth. O God of truth, deliver us. So come, O wisdom, show me a different way to think, to act, and to be. Flow through me, O wisdom. Amen.